How's family reunion? Y'all having a good start? Say yes, yes. Okay, so you have some special treats today, because the only way that I get to do a lot of really incredible things is like many of you with an incredible team. And so I have the one and only Jumoke, who actually leads our MG residential team, and she's gonna join me, because part of what allows seminars to be fully leveraged is that you have a team that can also implement them for consistency. So please join me in welcoming Jumoke to join me. Welcome, Jumoke. All right, and so number two, we have, has anybody seen the one-pager or the 31-page how to do a seminar book that you can get downloadable off of Command Connect? Say yes. Okay, if you, somebody has it, I saw that. Okay, so guess what? I'm not actually gonna tell you how to do that today, because you can go right now, right when you leave here, go get the book, and it's gonna walk you through every single thing. What we're gonna walk you through are the 5 reasons agents are not using seminars to build their brand and drive sales. Sound good? Because I'm gonna eliminate all the objections that you have. So when you pull out that book and you say, okay, I got it, we're gonna have already busted through the 5 reasons agents are not doing this. So who wants to build their brand and get more sales? Say yes. Yes, okay, so we're gonna dive into it.
And I just wanna get a temperature check. How many of you guys feel like you're really crushing it in that arena? You're doing seminars at a high level. You're generating tons and tons of referral business. How many of you guys? Rock stars?
All right.
Okay. Lots to learn. Lots to learn.
All right. So we're going to count you backwards. So number 5, right? The number 5 reason that people are not doing this is one that they're like, I don't know. I've already got enough first-time home buyers. The perception that the seminar is limited to first-time home buyers. And guess what? It's not, right? You can create a seminar around any topic, right? Ideally, that's connected into your business, particularly a topic that maybe you're interested in learning more about, or that maybe you've seen success in your business in the last year. This might be really maximize your wealth building through short-term rentals. Tax strategies that can help you leverage real estate to save on taxes, right? Thinking about what is something that you know is a way and a driver to build wealth and build opportunity in real estate that either you have seen be successful in a client that you've served. It's in a market. You want motivated leads around this topic. So think about the problem you would want to solve, a question you have, something you'd want to learn more about. So seminars are absolutely not just limited to just doing first-time homebuyer seminars. If you want to do that, awesome. But we see a lot of people in our market. We've been doing them for over a decade, and that's a really popular topic. And so what we found was we could actually start to Investor 101, right? You could start to create other topics that would allow you to create a seminar environment to drive motivated and qualified leads to come in and learn more with you.
And Kymber, I think number 4, when we think about the top reason why people aren't using seminars to effectively drive influence and business to their database is because they feel that they have to be the expert topic. So we all gravitate to first-time home buyers because it's easy, it's safe.
We got it.
But guess what happens? All you're gonna work with is first-time home buyers. And if you're anything like us, you wanna be able to grow your businesses, right? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
So think about who is in your database, who's in your network. You do not have to be the expert, just be the expert connector. Think about, do you have a tax attorney, a CPA? Do you have a lender? Do you have a home improvement contractor that's really knocking renovations out the park? Do you work with investors, developers? The sky's the limit. You're starting to hear the pattern here, that you don't have to be the person who's constantly having these conversations. Be the connector to build that bridge into your communities, right, and drive that influence.
I love that. Okay, so number 3, you're like, all right, so I don't have to be the expert, and it doesn't have to be just about first-time home buyers. So number 3, people say, well, I just can't afford it. Now, how am I gonna go get this expert? That's out of my budget. I'm supposed to lead with revenue. That's what you guys all teach us. And so the answer is actually look for sponsorships. That expert, if they share a desire to connect with that same client that's gonna show up for there, they could be your sponsor. You also don't need to spend a lot of money. You can hold this at your market center. You can hold it at a library. Reserve renting out the country club until you've already built up the momentum. So at the beginning, have a sponsor. If somebody's gonna co-host it with you, if they're gonna add information, have them be a co-sponsor. These should be 0. You should be leading with revenue of qualified leads. Think about this as an open house with a topic, right? They're gonna come in, they're gonna gain information, and you're gonna walk away with qualified, ready to go leads on that topic.
And I would echo that and think about the resources that you can share amongst those people that you're working with, right? So think about some of the marketing costs, right? You think about some of the time, the value. If you're not skilled in marketing, if you're not skilled in creating event landing pages, well, who on their teams you can work with to integrate some of those resources? So think about a collaboration of resources as well. So the second reason, right, when we think about, so far we've covered the topics. So far we've covered being an expert. So far we've covered the ROI. Can anyone guess when the number 2 reason why agents are not using seminars to drive influence and build their databases? No?
Time. Oh, this is a good one.
Time is a good one.
Ding, ding, ding. You saw our notes. Okay.
Time is definitely a good one. And so you think about just the consistency and communication, right? So people always think about the cadence of doing the seminars. They think about having to do, well, I don't want to do a first-time homebuyer seminar every single month. I want to do a homebuyer seminar. I want to do an investor seminar. I want to do a wealth building seminar. I want to do a house hacking seminar. But consistency is key, right, Kymber? We think about, for our team, we have investor seminars that we do the second Tuesday of every month. Same time, same place. We mastered it. So you think about going deeper and not too wide in how you build your business and connect with your databases.
And then what you get to do is have your content built out. Think about you've built the content for an Investor 101 session. I helped you out because I asked ChatGPT right before we got here, what are other topics? What are other titles for a seminar about investing? You could do a women in wealth building seminar. You could be like success secrets, build your real estate portfolio. Because now what you're gonna do is take the exact same content and you're gonna be able to change a topic with your marketing in terms of how you reach people. So you don't have to rebuild content every month. The goal is to get consistent. Say every Tuesday, our team every single second Tuesday host an investor seminar. Now guess what? If we just call it investor seminar, then that gets pretty old fast. So being able to take that same topic, your title, your marketing, your brand building, and shift it to get more people in the door. We probably for the first 5 years did first-time homebuyer seminars. And really, when we were the only people doing them, they were pretty consistent, right? We might have 10 to 15 people signing up. You have half of that show. Like we were closing 2 or 3 buyers every single seminar, right? Then all of a sudden, it just slowed down and we couldn't figure it out. Well, guess what? Like that was no longer an exciting topic. And we literally taught the exact same content in Investor 101. And all of a sudden, this whole population of young professionals were like, I want to be an investor. Now, the first thing we asked was how many of you, own your own home already? And guess what? Very few hands went up. So we were able to take that same first-time homebuyer content, reposition it to be an investor, which is way more exciting, right? And then guess what? The first step, buy your own house, right? Like first step, we're gonna get you to buy a house. But we were able to take that and market it and drive completely different activity and engagement and rebrand the seminars and get more traffic. All right.
And Kymber, I'd like to throw a bonus one because you've mentioned it. I mean, follow-up is key. And you think about some of the pitfalls to really driving of influence and awareness in your databases is we have all these events and then what happens to all of the follow-up? Follow up with the people who RSVP'd and didn't show up. Follow up with the people who did show up and thank them. But don't wait 48 hours to do it. Have that plan already mapped out and have it ready to drip out as soon as your event is over. So that way you can really keep the engagement high.
100%. And one of the big lessons we learned was have your call to action ready at the seminar. Meaning we have a limited spaces available for one-on-one consultations. We'll release the sign up at the end of the seminar. So your goal is to not just have people walk away. For those that were there, you want to close them to the one-on-one in that session, right? That you're ready, you know your schedule, you know when you're available, and you're booking those appointments. So your call to action, as Debunking said, you've got a whole list of people who aren't going to show up. Those are the people you're going to follow up with. Those that showed up and didn't book the direct appointment. So you have a whole strategy once people are there. And then our top reason, all right? So our number one reason that we feel like people are not using seminars is that, let's be honest, like seminars aren't that sexy. Like who wants to come in and be lectured to for 30, 60 minutes? after work or on a Saturday morning. So the goal is like, make it interesting, make it exciting. It should be interactive. It should not be a lecture. It should not be a slide deck where you're clicking through it and people are nodding off. So your goal is to create that interaction, create community, have everybody introduce themselves, ask them what brought them there, because it's gonna help you understand what's driving the audience, and you're gonna be able to create spaces. We've made some really exciting community connections inside of the seminar. So it's a great opportunity to really leverage what we actually are, right? We are community connectors. We are building those wealth building opportunities, and the seminars are an amazing vehicle to that.
And think about how you brand it. So the word seminar isn't sexy. There's nothing sexy about sitting in a first-time home buyer investor
this group,
seminar.
I mean, it's like, what, 5 o'clock? You're like, we're here, we're talking about
You're
seminars.
here because you want to learn how to sell $1 billion worth of real estate, right? Doing exactly what Kymber's done over the last
and Jamoke, right? Yeah.
However, think about the evolution of marketing, right? Think about the evolution of tech. Think about the evolution of the home buyer demographic and the investor demographic and the commercial demographic. So whatever you're looking to brand your event or seminar as, also be mindful of the marketing pitch, because that's also going to help you drive the consistency to your database. And it's okay, because if they don't make it and they keep seeing the pictures and the videos and the content every single month, second Tuesday of every month, by the 4th month, guess who's going to be there? And guess who's going to bring a friend? And then by the 8th month, guess who's going to be there and bring their whole family and friends? So consistency over time. Don't be discouraged by how many people do or do not show up. Consistency means that success is simple, but it's not easy, right? So it just takes time, and you'll see the return by the end of the year for sure.
So you see why I had Jamoke join me, because she just dropped gold right there. All right, so I'm going to give you guys another tip, because this is like the first full session day or partial session day. You're going to be getting a lot of ideas and content while you're here over the next few days. I'm going to challenge you, right? You know that if you implement, if you take action on something, you are 10 times as likely to have success in that piece. So to wrap up, I want you to turn to your neighbor and go, one seminar idea, either an aha, what's one seminar thing that you can take back and implement based on what we just gave you, which are the 5 ways people are not using it that are just myths, right? These are all reasons that they could get over. So we're gonna wrap, and I want you to just turn to the person next to you. What's one way that you can implement a seminar, a topic, an idea, and get into action? Good luck making lots of money using seminars.